You know what I tended to do? I reinterpreted directors' directions so that I could do what I needed to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what was wanted,
Mm-hmm.
I would think, all right, now how do I get from this point to that point and make it, as truthful as possible?
Right.
Because, for one thing, if it's not truthful, I won't remember to do it. I know that about myself. In those days, in the beginning of Dark Shadows, it was also the very early days of videotape. And if videotape were edited, you had what was called a one frame roll. In other words, it could not be done cleanly in those days. So they did not like to stop at all
Mm-hmm.
because it was difficult, if not impossible, to edit, and it never looked good. We
Fantastic.
were always having seances, and we must have had candles called Everburn or something. No, it's true, they would not go out. But of course, if you wanted to light it, you couldn't light it because the matches didn't work either. It was not a technically advanced show. Well, there was never the only thing I remember in terms of atmospherically, there was never any blame attached. I mean, no one ever said, "How could you do that to me? How could you deliver that ridiculous line to me?" It wasn't anything like that. We always laughed about it, and I don't even remember being really embarrassed. It was the one thing I did that uh, I have felt guilty about for 35 years now was we had a guest actor in who was fairly well known, and I was playing a scene with him in the Collinwood drawing room, sitting opposite him, and the actor's wife had had surgery or been hospitalized or something the preceding night, so he had had a really horrible night. And the teleprompters were attached on just to one side of the camera. So in other words, if I were speaking to you, my teleprompter would be just over your shoulder. So that's why you see people frequently looking in a rather strange direction. Uh, but this very, very wonderful actor came on for, I think, only 1 or 2 days. And for one of the only times I remember during my 5 year stint on Dark Shadows, I just went high as a kite. I did not remember what came next. I didn't know. I didn't have my contacts in. I couldn't see the teleprompter attached to the camera over his shoulder. I literally had to turn around and read his camera, the teleprompter that was immediately behind me. And it made me feel stupid and guilty and like a total non-professional. I was really, really distressed by that event, but that he was wonderful about it. He never even commented on it. Henry Kaplan would direct with a little baton. He had a baton with maybe a star attached to it, and he would say, "Now, Nancy, you're going to turn, 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 and look up." And he would say, "Poetry in motion." This is his favorite term, poetry in motion. Yes, and he would give us grades after the show. Johnny, B, Nancy, C minus, Jonathan. No, I never got a C minus. But yes, he definitely graded us. Well, we had another director called Leela Swift. Now, Leela Swift was married to Dr. Schwartz. Leela Swift's name was Leela Swift Schwartz. This became our test for sobriety after we'd had, 1 or 2 martinis, to say Leela Swift Schwartz 6 times in rapid succession. It's perfect test. And she knew her business. She knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She was very strong-minded, is a very strong-minded woman, and got right down to business. One of the only difficulties in that instance was that she kind of knew what she wanted from 8 o'clock in the morning, and most of us were simply not ready to act at 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, we would, do the best we could, but we needed a little nurturing time.